thus far, these companies have come to the market and come well. Does that mean suddenly the Cheers, the other names that we've been waiting for a long time, are going to be galvanized, do you think?
It definitely helps the momentum for what we're expecting in the IPO market, the pipeline that we're seeing come through. As you all were noting, though, the post-IPO performance of these companies, even the ones before them, will really help continue setting the stage and help influence what will continue coming to market over these next several months and throughout the remainder of 24. We've got, positive momentum. The trends are all going in the right way, but not without its challenges. We're in a political, cycle, a political election cycle this year. So, there's going to continue to be elements and dynamics that everyone's going to have to navigate.
Dynamics being also that the market is hungry for AI names. When you're advising these companies, when they're coming to you saying, I want to navigate liquidity events, I want to analyze the market, do you think about basically where they need to be dining out on AI, for example?
Well, AI is certainly something drawing a lot of focus, interest, particularly from investors. And when we think about AI, I think about it in kind of a few different buckets. You've got the pure play AI companies, those that are developing the technology. There is a lot of continued interest in this area, particularly in the private financing space. So these companies are generally getting funded. And will we start seeing a flood of IPOs from them over the coming months and year? Maybe not, onesie twosies, but they're getting the financing they need. They're developing the technology. But then I also look at other companies and how they're employing AI within their companies and relative to their strategy. We're seeing that play out. We're going to continue, not without skepticism from investors, kind of proving it to me. And then you've got those kind of in the broader ecosystem that we're seeing right now and how they're contributing to AI and that broader ecosystem. And we're going to continue seeing those come to market as well.
Rachel, this is exactly what I was writing about in my column in Tech Daily this morning, that Reddit, for example, got its AI story right going into the IPO, the data licensing business. I think what would be interesting to learn from you is what's more important, that in the S1 process and the roadshow, you sell your AI story, or is it more important that actually now a company like Reddit is listed, they can prove they have an AI business, after the fact that it's actually real?
I think both are critical for obvious reasons, but where we're seeing, even when you're putting that into your S1, going through your roadshows, investors asking, to prove it. So it's not just about writing about the possibility and the idea, but what have you done even up to this point to share with investors how you're proving this out, how you truly have a strong plan that you're then now executing on, and then proof will be in the pudding. Post-IPO, how you're coming out and continuing to execute and perform to back all of that up. And so as we continue to watch the performance of these stocks, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, so forth, they've got to continue demonstrating that performance and stay good on the promises and commitments they made.
Rachel, how do you assess this week's IPO window? I don't even know if we call it a window, versus what we saw in September.
This is, to me, demonstrating, we've got investor interest around IPOs. The companies that are coming to market right now is what we've expected. They're scaled, they're large, they have a name, they have some history, performance history behind them as well. So the risk profile is one of an appetite that's attracting investors. As they continue to perform, hopefully that starts to open up opportunity for more of the growth-oriented companies to start coming to market and really help drive some momentum and volumes over time, getting us back to those historical norms. But it's going to be a steady recovery. We're not expecting a big, balloon, if you will, or huge kind of spike. A steady recovery is what we've continued to expect throughout 2024 as we continue to see the market rebound.
And Rachel, what's the motivating factor here? Reddit wanted to IPO for years, since 2021. It was about a liquidity event for employees largely, but I'm sure time for investors to have some money back. What's driving other names?
everyone has their facts and circumstances. Some's going to be, they're going to be anchoring around valuations, and are they getting to a valuation that they're expecting liquidity for employees, for other founders? A lot of PE, right? We're going to start seeing how is PE going to start driving volume. They've been having some companies they've been holding for quite some time. They want to start entering back into the M&A market as we see rates coming down. Hopefully we'll see more M&A activity, even more from PE. I think that's going to start influencing some exit from that stage as well.